The A4Q AI portfolio brings together 3 certifications, each designed to strengthen your understanding of AI from a different perspective. You can start with A4Q AI Essentials to gain a clear understanding of how AI works and how to apply it ethically and effectively. Explore A4Q AI Foundation to deepen your knowledge of AI methods, risk awareness, and quality assurance, bridging the gap between innovation and responsibility. And finally, the new A4Q Certified Professional for AI Compliance, a specialized program focused on the EU Artificial Intelligence Act. Here, you'll explore risk classification, governance, conformity assessment, and post-market monitoring, all the key elements organizations need to stay compliant in the new regulatory era. Explore the A4Q AI portfolio and take your next step toward AI you can trust.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this last session of the A4Q Testing Summit Day 1. We've had a lot of insightful presentation, a lot of interesting talks about AI, of course, software testing and team management, and not to forget the ISTQB dedicated track. For this last session, I'm happy to welcome Grzegorz Holak and Filip Barszcz to this new session so they can show us how AI didn't replace QA, but how it gave us time to do quality. Hello to you both.
Hi.
Hey.
Good evening, everyone.
Before handing over to you, I would like to remind the audience that they can share their questions and comment in the comment sections, and we will deal with them at the end of your session. Thank you, and now the stage is yours.
Thank you, Kenza. So, let's start. In this little talk, we'll try to explain all of you, how we think that AI didn't and probably won't replace quality assurance. But let's start from us. I'm Greg, as Kenza said, or Grzegorz, if you understand Polish and like to pronounce some tongue twisters. I'm actually test or QA architect and AI ambassador in Santander Corporate Investment Banking, senior test development engineer in SIA Poland, and co-founder of quality-blog.eu, which is the blog when we, with a couple of friends, we are trying to make some knowledge for free for everyone. Let's say that way. Filip.
And my name is Filip Barszcz. I am a QA chapter lead in the Santander Corporate and Investment Banking. I'm a co-author of the Quality Blog EU, and I have privilege to cooperate and work together side by side with Grzegorz day to day.
So nice. Nice. Okay, let's go to the agenda. We split this talk with 2 parts. Before summary, first I will try to show you my point of view as a test architect. Then Filip will take over and will show you point of view of QA chapter lead. Then we'll do some summary, and at the end we'll have some time for your questions, and maybe we'll have knowledge to answer them, but I cannot promise that. Okay, let's go. So why we think that the craft is back? Let's start with honesty. Not every team using Gen AI is getting value from it. We on the quality blog, by the way, we created adoption scale for that, where at early levels you're chatting with model in the browser, asking it to, for example, explain stack trace, generate some quick snippet, and this can feel productive without really changing the economics of quality assurance work. Yeah, but in our opinion, the role shift happens when AI moves into IDE, into a CLI, the terminal, say pipeline, to the team every day's workflow. It stops being place you visit and becomes part of how work moves through the system. that is when time starts coming back. Because the repetitive handoffs and boilerplate work begin to disappear. So before anyone can claim that AI transformed the organization, you can ask some questions, but not how many testers use AI or how many licenses you have, because these are not valid questions. But try to ask, where are you on adoption scale, and how much did the team actually get back? If you cannot answer the second one, how much time did the team actually get back, you are not doing adoption yet, in my opinion. It's just kind of AI theater. And this point is not to shame anyone, to be honest. It's more like to show the ladder visible. So we know what kind of adoption produces real capacity and what kind only produces, let's say, good-looking demos for clients, etc. Yeah?
Let's be honest, everybody needs discovery phase, so it's necessary, but if this is prolonged, that's not benefits the team.
Exactly. So why QA mindset is back into the game? And again, honestly, the truth is that about last, let's say, decade, maybe a little less, of QA, automation was supposed to free us. I mean, free our time. But it ended up with consuming our time. Most of the testers become Jira framework developers, maintaining brittle frameworks, fixing selectors, reviewing boilerplate code, fighting with flaky tests, and so on, so on. And the actual craft, thinking about the risk, about designing test strategies, exploring the unknown, challenging assumption, it got squeezed into sometimes Friday afternoons, if it happens at all, yeah? We're losing time for being the just junior framework developers. So the AI here, GenAI, actually, kind of flips the balance, but because the code treating part, the framework plumbing part, let's say, AI can handle quite well, to be honest, and it can remove the drag. So of course, it still needs human in the loop, still needs review, but it no longer needs to be the center of tester day, which is kind of important in our craft. So in our opinion, what AI cannot do is decide what is worth testing on the first place, because most of the cases it cannot understand business risks in the same way as a good tester can. And of course, it can understand something, but not the way as good or great tester can do that. So, and moreover, it cannot negotiate coverage trade-offs with products or engineering team. So yeah, and that question, what to test, why, and what risk we are accepting is the job, the QA job. Yeah? So AI doesn't punish testers. It rewards the ones who kept the QA mindset alive. While the industry was asking them to behave like framework developers, we have our QA mindset again on our edge.
We can risk even the sentence that thanks to AI elevate the skills of the QAs, just show even better, more to public, to audience their skills, but at the same time it shows the gaps that we have here.
Very, very, very much agreed. Okay, what we do with the time we get back, and this is one of the most important thing here, in my perspective, of course. I'm living the chapter lead POV, because if AI give us back, let's say 20% of our week, and we fill it with more tickets from backlog, to be honest, we lost. We just made the same treadmill run faster. The win is using the time for the work QA always wanted to do and never had room for it. It means exploring the system instead of only executing the scripts. It means looking beyond the tickets and asking what could fail in production, what edge cases real users will create, which assumptions are hidden inside the acceptance criteria. It also means, finally, making space for non-functional concerns before production embarrasses, like performance, accessibility, security, reliability, observability, etc. And what is very important, these are not side quests, they are quality. So reclaimed time can also go into the work that makes the whole team better over time, like, of course, refactoring frameworks, cleaning up test data, writing documentation, do some mentoring on juniors, and maybe the most important, it gives us QA move earlier, so through shift left, we can see it with product while requirements are being shaped, instead of finding bugs later on production when feature is already built, And in our opinion, this is real quality assurance. AI didn't replace it, it just made room for it again. Nice photo. So about safe place to work with AI. I should read here Gen AI, to be honest. But no one of what I described works if you cannot trust the system. And guardrails are not bureaucracy on top of AI. They are the thing that lets you step back from the screen and still trust that the work was done in right way, because without clear contract for what agent can touch, what it must not touch, how secrets are protected, how changes are verified, we end up, to be honest, like managing the AI. Safe setup starts with verified tools, of course, like approved MCP servers, approved CLIs, approved skills, no shadow tooling quietly connecting to sensitive systems. It continues inside repositories like agentsmd. The idea where files like agentsmd describes conventions, test commands, forbidden areas, review rules, and what is probably the most important, our expectations. But very important thing with guardrails is that they are not one-time document. They need periodically checks. So is agent, the question to ask is agent following the boundaries, or has it learned a route around them? Are prompts still useful? And the team that win treat their AI setup like CI infrastructure, versioned, review, observable, and continuously improved. Because trust isn't assumed, trust is engineered. Do you want to add something, or I go next?
I have something similar. I have to say that trust is good, but control is better.
In other eyes, so tooling as a team, not one magic box, and because there is not single AI, Gen AI tool, LLM tool that solves whole quality assurance, but there can be portfolio, and each of these subtracts a specific kind of friction. Like project agents can take away hours spending on digging in wiki, checking docs, etc. Develop agents can generate code and things around it, like log analysis, finding root cause. Repository agents can automate code review on the first pass, in example, and each removes a specific kind of work. So stacking them is better than just picking one. And the right questions here is not which AI is the best. It should be more like what's eating my team hours and what removes it or how we remove it. Yeah, because mature AI strategy is not one magic box. It's like a set of small delegations that compound. Yeah. So yeah, no silver bullet. Portfolio of small wins. Go on. What we are not doing, we do not trust AI blindly. Let's say it has to pay rent, yeah? So there are some operational metrics which keep us honest, like time to merge. It should tell us whether test and framework changes actually move faster through the system or whether AI only made local coding part feel faster. You know this feeling when I think I'm faster, better, but not always. Another thing is time spent on review. It should tell us whether humans are still adding judgment or whether we have created a rubber stamp process where everyone approves faster but quality saliently drops. Another thing, agent success rate tell us when agent, skill, prompt, or AI workflow has quietly stopped working and need maintenance. But the metrics, all three, the metrics, ties who talk together into the fourth one, the time required for quality. It is how many hours per week does the team now spend on exploration, architecture, non-functional testing, mentoring, writing documentation, upstream the product conversion compared with before. Yeah. Without that number, every other metric can become just a vanity stat. With it, we can, to be honest, answer the real question. Did AI give us time and did we use it well? Because team can reduce merge time and still lose if all the save time is swallowed by more backlog tickets. Yeah, the goal isn't just speed; the goal is better quality at the end.
As Greg mentioned, as you can, I just wanted to add some small comment there. As you mentioned there, this all metrics create a whole story, and this story is acceptable for the business. Without that, if you skip some of these metrics, you lose important part of the story. So you cannot fully describe in the business language if we achieve improve, if we do we achieve improve, do we enhance our capabilities. Without that, with one single metrics from that, you cannot do this. So let's
go on. QA chapter lead point of view.
Yeah, so that was the tooling side. The agent pipelines, guardrails, all very real or very concrete. My job is right now to look on the different side here to show you, not the side of the terminal, but the side where we are in the room with the team, and people have questions, not specifically related to the tool, but related to their fears and what they expected. When our organization decided to bring AI engines into our workflow, my first instinct wasn't a total excitement. It was, this is not going to happen to be a good thing. It's going to end badly for people. Because when I listened to the team, I heard two very distinctive things. The first, fear of redundancy. If the agent does my job, am I being made redundant? Is my role disappearing? And another fear of skills gap. I don't understand these tools. Everyone pretends it's easy. I'm too embarrassed to ask. These are two very different problems that need two very different answers. And as a leader, my decision was simple here. Don't dismiss either of them. Let's build a concrete answer to each one. That's the whole story of my next part of this presentation. And I want you to notice, by the time we get to the slide 20, I will have closed the loop on both of these fears directly, not with reassurance, with evidences. A large team, 2 fears, and 1 plan. The starting point matters, it shapes everything that follows. And this is an important part here to just identify fears regarding that, because most of the team, most of the people doesn't share it because they are afraid of that. And as every revolution, every change, there is some resistance, there are some obstacles, there are some fears. So what we did, we measured. We can go further.
Trying. Okay.
Sure. So we measure, not guess. Greg proposed a fantastic scale. We use his scale of the AI maturity proficiency, which you can find at Quality Block. A 12-level AI adoption maturity model, ranging from full resistance at level 0 all the way to a complete agentic operation system at level 11. But we didn't just apply it off the shelf. We built our own assessment tool on top of it, calibrated to our specific domain, our specific needs. It factored in regulatory answer, test strategy depth, and genuine readiness to delegate tasks to an agent. What we found generally surprised us. Some people were already operate on the higher level that we expected, and nobody had ever told them that they were ahead of the curve. On the other hand, we surfaced people at the beginners levels, and one who were very simple to embarrass to admit they needed a help. They've been hiding it from the early beginnings of the introduction of the AI change. The data become the foundation for everything that we followed. Because here, the thing, you can't design a training program, you cannot resolve a team's fears. You design it for people and how they can overcome their fears. And you can only do that if you know where each person actually starts. What kind of the skills has a specific person? What kind of the experience they have with the AI? The message we took back to the team was, this is not a performance review. This is really important, because very often people can just react on this kind of assessment like, okay, this is additional performance review. It will impact my score. It will have impact of my career. This is really important. This is a map, so we know which route to take together, or we take for a specific person to join the rest of the team. And this message has to be transparent as much as we can, because if we don't do that, we just spread the panic inside the team, and we have to avoid it. The role itself had 3 phases, and the most important thing I can tell you about them is there were no announcements. Phase 1 was pilots, a small group of volunteers from my team, no pressure, no obligation to succeed. The single question we were asking, does this actually work in our context? Not a vendor demo, not in a case study from another industry. Here, with our process, our regulatory requirements, our team. Phase 2, where was more problematic, that was the retrospectives, regular sessions with pilot group, where we talk openly about what helped, what surprised us, and what was dangerous. And critically, those findings went to the whole team, not just the people who were already in the room, because we share this information. Here we make a gamble, we make open communication. So before the rest of the team joined us, they were aware of the problems, they were aware of the benefits that we discovered, and they could prepare for themselves. We gave them opportunity to build some confidence that they can make it. Phase 3 was scaling, and we only moved it to it when we had 3 things in place: prove it works, people who could teach, and guardrails so nobody could burn trust within a week. Every phase had a gate, and enthusiasm was not a gate, data was. Pilots retros scale in that order. So after the first month, we found two gaps we hadn't fully anticipated, and they became the backbone of our entire training design. The first was critical review gap. People were accepting agents' output without verification. Not because they were lazy, because they trusted. Nobody had explicitly told them that AI output require exactly the same review as code pull request. That was our failure as leaders, not theirs. The second was a prompt engineering gap. Someone would type write test for it, get poor output, and conclude that AI was useless. The problem was never the tool. The problem was the question and how to prompt. And that's invisible until you train people to ask differently. But here is finding that changed everything. People who generally understood risk and quality, they directed the agent brilliantly. They knew what good looked like, so they could tell when the agent got it wrong. That was the signal. AI amplifies strong testers. So our job was to build more strong testers, and that meant training had to come before tooling, no after. That's why we built 3 tracks. Now I want to address the redundancy fear directly, because it deserves a direct answer, not reassurance. Work didn't disappear. It moved up to the value chain. Before, you write the test cases manually. After, you define acceptance criteria, the agent draft them, and you verify the approve. You are not writing tests anymore. You are deciding what good enough looks like. Before, you find regression manually. After, you govern the regression suite. Before, you copy results into tickets. After, you analyze trends across both AI metrics and product quality metrics together. You are no and not a data entry clerk. You are an analyst. And critical. Compliance reasoning stayed entirely on our side. The agents pre-screens, the human decides. Always. And I will just say that once again. The human decides always. So human in the loop is critical one. The work that
By the way, you told about wrong output on previous slides, and I'm wondering why we have ladder without library here. But
because AI is just then opening the new possibilities.
I know.
Who knows what is in the end of the ladder?
Yeah, go on.
So the work that moved to the agent was the work nobody liked. That's important, right? The works that stayed: strategy, oversight, edge cases, regulatory reasoning. That's the work that actually defines what a good QA professional is, stays. That mirror moment was uncomfortable, and handling it was the most important leadership work I did through this entire transformation. 3 things made the difference. First, I named the fear directly, not change is an opportunity. I actually said, I know you are scared. I was too. Let's talk about what specifically worries you. Not in the group session where nobody speaks honestly. Serious one-to-ones. And that really works. Thanks to that, I could understand every fear for every specific member of my team, and I could just adjust the plan to prevent the expanding their fears. Second, nobody started alone. Every person, beginning with the AI, was part with buddy, with person who was more proficient from the group. First task done together, zero pressure, for independent results in a week. The buddy system, the mentor system is better even to say. Sounds simple. It was single most effective thing we did, and we just see the results in the upcoming months. Third, I had honest individual conversation about the career paths, not performance reviews. Genuine conversation about direction. And what emerged was that AI had actually opened the new roles that simply hadn't existed before. For some people in the team, This transformation became a promotion, not a threat. The uncomfortable truth is that AI is a mirror. It shows who was genuinely testing and who was filling templates. Both groups needed a response. The leaders in the first group got more space and more challenge. The people in the second group got support, time, and clear path forward. Grzegorz showed us the technical guardrails. Let me show you the organizational ones, because without these, the technical guardrails means nothing. We built a three-layer governance model. The chapter lead, SME, owns tooling decision and when tools get rotated out. QA lead, that's the roles that we have together here, owns the agents, contracts, and review every new AI capability before it goes anywhere near production. Sometimes our colleagues from the team who are more advanced support us in that part. Engineers delegate, verify, and escalate. Nobody changes how the agent operates unliterally. Without this, you got shadow AI. That's what Gregor mentioned before. Someone runs something locally, nobody knows the scope. Nobody knows what data it touched. And when something goes wrong, and it will, trust me, there is no owner. In a regulatory environment, simply not acceptable. And on metrics, Grzegorz tracks this at the technical level. My job is to translate them upwards. Hallucination rate becomes what the percentage of agent decision needed correction. And is that number falling quarterly on quarter? That's question a board can engage with. The key insight is this leadership doesn't operate in hallucination rate units. They operate in time, risk, and cost. Your job as a leader is to build that bridge every single time. So, what did we achieve? Let me close the loop on these two fears I opened it with. Fear of redundancy. Answer it. Nobody left because of AI. Several people stepped into new AI-specific roles that simply didn't exist at the start of this journey. Their work didn't disappear. It moves, evolves, get the opportunity. Fear of not understanding the tools. Answer it. Everyone went through at minimum the foundation tracks. The people who were hiding at level 0, 1, or 2, they are not hiding anymore. They have mentors. They are teaching each other. They cooperate each other to move forward. On results, significantly reduction in time spent on routine task management, a meaningful, faster regulatory feedback loop. And all of the time went exactly where it was always needed. Risk-based testing, exploratory, edge cases, regulatory, real QA work, and as Greg mentioned, a non-functional test that finally we have time to address and expand. And I will leave you with the frame that ties everything together. Tool change. Today is one tool, tomorrow another. The pattern doesn't change. Delegate, guardrail, measure, decide. That pattern works whenever you are in 10-person team or in 100-person tribe. Whenever you are in banking, insurance, software, and the leadership version of the pattern is name the fear, map the team, train before you tool, govern what you deploy, and measure what actually matters. So let's go to the summary, Greg.
Yeah. So what do we keep from that, and what we want to give you as a takeaways? Let me start. As I said, in my opinion, the graph is back. So first, AI isn't replacement. Yeah, it's a new stack, agents, pipelines, guardrails, metrics, etc. Secondly, tools will keep changing faster than teams probably. For sure, faster than teams can comfortably adapt. So don't build your identity around a vendor or single assistant, invest in pattern, what you just said previously. And third, This is the most important, in my opinion, message, which I want to all of you work out. The time AI gives back belongs to the work we always said matter, but rarely had space for it. Real QA, in other words. And that is the win of AI. AI don't replace us. It finally gave us the time. Yeah. Go on.
And from my side, the pattern, not the tool. Delegate, guardrail, measure, decide. Tools are changing. Let's just check in the last 10 years how, for example, automation framework just changed across that. How we switch from one tool to another tool. The same story will be potentially with the AI models. Train before you introduce a tool, because people have to understand the tool. They have to know how to use it properly. We should avoid just go to the deep water with them and said just discover that. And the most important, from my opinion, governance is trust. In regulated institution, control is the condition for buy-in. No governance, no scale, no trust.
Yeah. So, your turn. Any questions which we could answer? I cannot promise that we will answer, but I can promise that we'll try.
We do our best.
Thank you to both of you for this presentation. If you have, as they say, any question, please use the comment section. We do have a few coming, so let's start. How did your teams react to the gaps that you found?
Filip?
To be honest, it depends on the people, because people who are aware work with the AI on themselves, they weren't surprised. But the biggest fears were in the people who, for that, they didn't use AI on themselves on the daily routine. They missed this AI revolution that we had with, for example, OpenAI, Anthropic, Google part, and that was the most scariest part for me as a QA chapter leader, because I had to manage the fears. And this is one of the toughest things. And thanks to that they openly communicate. They were really transparent with me on the one-on-ones. It helps me manage their fears. So the reaction was, in some part, it was just as I expected, call me peacefully, but there were some really unexpected just burns, rebusts of the emotions and informations that I had to had a couple of the meetings ad hoc with people to just listen to them and understand what they have in the head. So I had whole spectrum for small enthusiasm to fear that I'm redundant. That's what I just described to you during this presentation.
Thank you for your answer. The next question, do you think AI adoption has made your work easier?
100% sure. And I have more time for things that I love to do.
Very clear answer.
No more writing documents, yeah?
No, I love writing the documents, Greg. Oh, come on, this is one of the things that I love it, really. I will not give... okay, I can use AI to just
not
check
as much as I love when I am angry.
I know that. But
just inside the joke, I create one day kind of around 20 pages document because I was just angry. So.
Yeah, so we love to write the documents, but AI can just help us with all the redundant stuff that we have to do. And thanks to that, I have more time for the different areas, and that benefits not only us as a QA, but the whole domain.
Cool.
Great. Next question. Did any agent break your guardrails?
Yeah, that's the kind of funny funny question because we cannot answer on the project side because of NDA, of course, but I can answer on my own side projects. So building guardrails are kind of hard and long-term work. So it took some time before I learned how to build correctly guardrails, and with some escape things, let's say that way.
Perfect. I think we have one last question. So, did you save a lot of time on your project by using AI? I guess it goes with the question about
so maybe I will tell us on the technical side. Again, I cannot say exactly on the project side, but let me answer this question this way. That we are going in the good direction, I think. And what I see in our, let's say, QA chapter, in our organization, we are probably the happier, or maybe even the happiest team considering AI adoption. Let's say that way.
I definitely agree here on that way. That from initial lack of trust right now, a lot of people just trust it and they know how to use it properly. So thanks to that, they are more satisfied with their work.
Yep.
Thank you. Well, that wraps up the day. Thank you very much to both of you for concluding this very busy day. Just a reminder that if you missed any of the session today, they are available on our YouTube A4Q account or on our website. And of course, don't forget to vote for Philip and Greg's presentation using the QR code there for best presentation or best speaker or both.
Both, the best both.
Stay tuned as more is coming tomorrow with a lot of new session. You will also be able to follow presentation in German in the German testing track and in French in the French testing board track. So the whole program is also available on our website. Thank you again to Philip and Greg, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Yeah.
The A4Q AI portfolio brings together 3 certifications, each designed to strengthen your understanding of AI from a different perspective. You can start with A4Q AI Essentials to gain a clear understanding of how AI works and how to apply it ethically and effectively. Explore A4Q AI Foundation to deepen your knowledge of AI methods, risk awareness, and quality assurance, bridging the gap between innovation and responsibility. And finally, the new A4Q Certified Professional for AI Compliance, a specialized program focused on the EU Artificial Intelligence Act. Here, you'll explore risk classification, governance, conformity assessment, and post-market monitoring, all the key elements organizations need to stay compliant in the new regulatory era. Explore the A4Q AI portfolio and take your next step toward AI you can trust.